and welcome to the channel and welcome to the Ultimate Racing League, brought to you by W.GG, the energy drink for gamers, and Eldridge Air Conditioning. We are here for our Sunday season, the most popular season we have at URL. We've got 5 leagues running, so that's how popular it is. We are at round 3, so this is week 3, and we are in America at Watkins. We're just outside a little town called Dix at Watkins, Glen, just outside New York. A little bit about the track in a minute, but what I do want to do is very quickly I'm going to go down the league table. Now, as I say, this is only week 3, so it is very, very early days, but I will have a quick run down. So the top 5 look like this. We've got Harry Poppins leading the way at the minute on 68 points. Frowny One is just behind on 67. Then not too far behind him in third is Too Fast For Yous, is 63. Now, the names on the league tables are different to the nicknames on track. So, and I think Too Fast For Yous is Wayne G. I'm not sure. I think that's what it is. But the third on 63. Ensign Ewart is 4th. I've got a feeling that might be Enzo Jack. He's on 61 points, and in 5th in the league at the minute is Bazza on 45. Down at the other end, at the bottom, we've got JS Roll is on 0 points, so obviously not taking part yet. Ninky New is on 5 points. Dude Bell is on 12, Hoppers is on 13th, and Castuan is on 19th. But as I say, don't get too alarmed just yet, especially the guys at the bottom. It is only early days, it is only week 3. So, back up to the track that we're on. As I said, just outside New York, at a place called Dix, is Watkins Glen. I believe there's two layouts for this track. You've got either the long or the short. We're obviously on the long. 11 turns, 3.4 miles, and a pretty nasty chicane. Now, I say 11 turns. There are probably more. For some reason, all the track guides don't count the chicane turns. There's 4 corners in the chicane, obviously, and a lot of the track guys don't actually count them. So it's either 11 or 15 turns. We're not really that bothered, are we? It's a track and we want to race it, and that's what we're here to do. You can see the sun is shining, a couple of clouds up there, but nothing too serious, and we're not going bowling, as the picture would suggest. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go down the grid order, and we're going to have a bit of a walk around the cars and see what we've got. Now, everybody's in the NSX. It is a 1-make series. Everybody in the same car, so the same power unit, etc. So it all comes down to driver skill. The first race is a sprint race, so everybody will be on soft tyres, and it is just the usual, get round the track as fast as you can, and yeah, that's pretty much it as far as the rules go. So we'll run down the grid then. So on pole position is Wayne G. At the front, just behind Wayne G, we've got Scott in the Napa livery. Then we've got Enzo Jack, and looking splendid in the Marlborough livery. Harry Poppins for Team West there. Oh, that splendid looking car. Great work on the liveries for a lot of these guys. Frowny in 5th. Then we've got, well, I've wrote big down here, so I'm not sure what it is, big or BD, something like that. Sorry about that. My writing, I can't read it. Then we've got Aussie Rooster, Aussie Rooster in 7th. Fantastic livery, look at that, I love that. Absolutely love that. Whoever's done that, hats off to you, sir. It is fantastic livery on that car. Pete is in 8th. Then we've got Molepiece in 9th, 2 teammates, one behind the other. DB, there's DB in 10th. Then we've got Bazza in 11th for Team Falcon, I think that one is, or Falcon. Hoppers for the Lucky Strike team. Come on, Hoppers, rooting for you, mate. Then we've got Captain Slow, and then bringing up the rear, we've got Ninky Noo in the west. So that's the lineup. You can see it is a rolling start. A bit tricky for the guys mid-pack because they are going to be starting just as we come around the final turn. So bit tricky for them, but I'm sure they'll be okay with it. So let's go back up to the top to Wayne G. We'll get the correct camera on. There we go, and we'll get this race one started. So 14 laps around this circuit in the NSX as Wayne G takes us down towards turn 1. Now there are a few corner names on this, and we'll try and go through them as we go along. Excuse me. As Wayne G goes into turn 1, not as easy as you think. It's a bit of a sweeping right-hander, very easy to drift out too far to the left and pick up a penalty. There are quite a few penalty spots around this track, as I'm sure some of the guys will find as we go along, but everybody through that section okay. Up through turns 2, 3 and 4, and then we're on to the back straight, heading towards this chicane. Inner loop is at the start and the outer loop on the exit. It's as simple as that, really. So let's just make sure everybody gets through there, and it looks like we have, with no incidents, which is fantastic. Oh, there's a few scratches on Ninky Noo's car already. So Wayne G still out in front excuse me, as he takes us down towards turn 7, which is the toe, and then you go uphill. It's almost like a hairpin, excuse me for the choking. Then you go slightly uphill and through the penalty zone there, down towards turn 8, which is called the heel. Another right-hander, and then you go up a slight incline then into turn 9 and 10. It's like a bit of a double left-hander, turn 9 and 10. Again, a couple of tricky ones because there are penalty zones around here. But Wayne G and Scott starting to pull away. Oh, and we've had a casualty. Who was this? Oh, I'll get there in a minute, won't I? I think it was Frowny. Let's just go back and have a quick look to see what happened to Frowny. I think he may have got caught out at turn 9, and this will catch a lot of people out. Turn 9. It is just about here. You start to put your foot down, and there we go. Wheels on the curb. The curb's just grabbed him and pulled the car around to the left, so that's unlucky for Brownie, and that has dropped him, well, as you can see, all the way down to 11th as we follow him up through turn 11 and then back onto the start finish straight. So not the best of opening laps for Frowny. It's not what he would have wanted. Hopper's in 13th, and Captain Slow is way back, isn't he? Oh, there you go. He's I think another victim of turn 9. It is a really tricky turn. It looks pretty straightforward as a left-hander, but as Frowny's just found out, and Captain Slow, you get on the power too early, and that's exactly what it'll do to you. You end up kissing barrier, and Captain Slow wedged against it. He's got to get himself moving now, and that's left him a hell of a lot of work to do to catch up to the rest of the pack. So that's really unlucky for Captain Slow. Somebody who does seem to have got to grips with it so far though is Wayne G, as we see him go through turns 2, 3 and 4 uphill, back onto the back straight, foot planted firmly on the noisy pedal all the way towards the chicane. And Wayne G just trying to get away from Scott, but Scott's not having any of it, is he? He's going to stay with him. Wayne G through the chicane safely. You can abuse those curbs quite a bit actually, almost straight line it through there. So we go through the outer loop, down the chute towards turn 6. this left-hander, and then it is again down the hill then towards the toe. And these names, they have a bit of a theme going towards this part of the track. So once you go around the toe, you then onto the straight called the boot, and I'm sure you'll pick up on the theme in a minute. But once you've gone through the boot, you go to the heel, which is this right-hand turn at turn 8. I'm looking at the map, I'm not sure, it looks like a foot, but oh, Scott goes very wide down. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get a penalty for that. There we go, half-second penalty for Scott for drifting too far out there on turn 8. So Enzo Jack in third, Big Dan, that is Big Dan, of course it is, I just forgot to write the Dan bit, didn't I? Stupid me. Sorry about that, Big Dan. So Big Dan is in fourth, Harry Poppins in 5th, Aussie Rooster is 6th, PT 7th, Molepiece in 8th, Frowny 9th, DB 10th, Ninky New 11th, Hoppers, Captain Slow, and Bazza. Oh, as Bazza had a moment as well. Let's just see if we can... Well, Bazza was 8th. I mean, I'm not going to go back too far, but Bazza was 8th. Well, what happened there? So we've come out of the chicane, we're on the outer loop, we're going down towards turn 6, which is the chute, down, we get the left-hander done, and he just drives straight into the barrier. So that was a very strange, whether he's had a disconnect, I'm not sure. So Bazza seems to be struggling, he's way down in 14th, and he does seem to be struggling. So whether he's had a technical, oh, and he's gone round too far on turn 7 as well. Well, I'm not going to prolong his agony anymore. Obviously there's been an issue which has put him all the way to the back, but Wayne G now out in front, he's clocking up these fastest laps. He's got a 154.8, which he, well, it's not registered, is it? He's saying he's got a 154.8, but lap 2 was a 154.4, so, oh, there we go, 154.4, yeah, so that's the fastest lap for Wayne G, who is trying to get away from Scott. He will get a little bit further once Scott serves that penalty. Enzo Jack in third. Let's just follow Enzo Jack through this chicane, across the first curb, second curb, third curb, and then fourth. As I say, you can abuse them a little bit. You still have to be careful though, and then you're into the long sweeping right-hander, which is the outer loop, and then down the chute. Bit of a tyre killer, turn 5. So we'll just follow Scott through to the penalty zone. I just want to see if Enzo Jack, oh, there's a bit of lag going on. There seems to be a bit of lag throughout the entire leagues last night, which is a shame. So Scott has just served his penalty. That means Enzo Jack can get a little bit closer to him. Whether the momentum will take him through, I don't think it will. I think by the time he gets to turn 8, yeah, Scott has still managed to stay in front, and then we've got this little three-way battle going on from Big Dan, Harry Poppins and Aussie Rooster, all battling for 4th position. Big Dan at the minute holding on to it, trying to keep it steady. Harry Poppins trying to put on the pressure. Let's go on board with Harry Poppins as we run through to turn 11. And then back onto the start-finish straight now. If you can get in the slipstream, this is where you can make the moves. I'm not sure Harry Poppins is going to get close enough this time. Aussie Rooster certainly isn't. So into turn 1. Don't want to drift too far to the left. If your tyres do go across that curb, that's a penalty waiting for you. And this one is definitely foot to the floor all the way through onto the straight up towards the chicane. Again, you want to get in the slipstream, and it looks like Harry Poppins has. So he's now getting closer and closer to Big Dan. You really don't want to be going side by side into the chicane. Oh, we've got a yellow flag. let's just let's have a look and see what's happened. It is, oh, it's Wayne G, it's our race leader. It's the race leader. He's had a bit of an issue with the chicane. Now, what was it? Well, again, he's just drove straight on. I'm not sure what's going on here. Let me just watch this again. And I'm going to watch the steering input as well. Well, I can only think that Wayne G has had some sort of disconnection as well, because it's very unlike him to just drive straight on at the barrier, and he's just sat there. So I hope he's okay. Yes, he is. He's moving again, so he is okay. Maybe a little bit shaken. Definitely in a bad mood now. From 1st to 10th, soon to be 11th if Ninky Noo can get by, although Ninky Noo is carrying a penalty. So let's just go up to the top now, because we've got a change of lead and Scott has taken over. Scott with a bit of a loose wheel nut, I think. There's a bit of a wobble going on. But he is out in front. He's got Enzo Jack in second, just behind him. Big Dan doing a fantastic job of keeping Harry Poppins and Aussie Rooster behind him. We'll jump on board with Big Dan, and that's the view he's got in his rear view mirror as he tries to chase Enzo Jack down as we go through these final turns. 9, then 10. Nicely through there, then on to turn 11 and back onto the start finish straight. We're going to go across the line to start lap 5 for these guys. Harry Poppins definitely getting right underneath Big Dan. Big Dan is going to hold on to it though as they go into turn 1. Oh, just keeping his tyres on the curb, and you can see Harry Poppins is now virtually pushing him along. Fantastic view of that NSX. And Harry Poppins is, well, he is practically pushing him, isn't he? Big Dan goes defensive and tries to take the inside line. Harry Poppins, he just cannot find a way by, can he? If he wants this, he's going to have to go the long way round, and it's not the best of entries into the chicane. I can't get my words out this morning, I'm getting all excited. But Big Dan doing a fantastic defensive job through that chicane. Harry Poppins just getting more and more frustrated. Aussie Rooster though has got right up to the back of Harry Poppins, so maybe Aussie Rooster will be challenging Harry Poppins for that 4th position anytime soon. We're going to go down and have a look at the rest of the field in a second. I do want to come back up to these 3 because it seems a fantastic battle they're having. Pete in 6th, looking comfortable at the minute. He's just watching this in front of him, hoping for a mistake from any of them. Brownie in 7th. Then we've got DB in 8th with Molepiece, Ninky Noo, then Hoppers. Bazza made his way up to 13th, and Captain Slow way back in 14th, although he is catching up. He's catching up to the back of Bazza. So keep going, Captain Slow. You never know what's going to happen. So back up to our race leader, who's got a bit of a gap now. Couple of car lengths, I would suggest, back to Enzo Jack. Well, more than a couple, isn't it? Enzo Jack in 2nd, then Big Dan still fighting away with Harry Poppins. Harry Poppins back underneath the rear wing of Big Dan's car as they go through turns 2 and 3. Then up onto turn 4, the right hander, which takes them back onto the back straight and down towards the chicane. Now Harry Poppins has pulled the trigger earlier and has made his move. He's now pulled alongside Big Dan. Big Dan still got his nose in front. Harry Poppins just has to back out at the last minute. As I say, you do not want to be going too wide into that chicane. So these two having a fantastic race at the minute. Big Dan doing a brilliant job of keeping Harry Poppins behind him. Harry Poppins is getting more and more frustrated. He just cannot find a way by Big Dan. Aussie Rooster, oh, he's picked up a half-second penalty, so that's going to just drop him off the back of those 2 in front of him, and it will allow Pete to get a little bit close to Aussie Rooster. don't think he's going to be close enough, Pete, to take that spot away from Aussie Roosters. We just saw in the background Frowney had got a 1 second penalty, so that's definitely knocked him back a bit. So Pete definitely closer to Aussie Rooster now. He can get in the slipstream. So Aussie Rooster's gone from maybe challenging Harry Poppins to having to defend now against Pete. We'll just follow it back up to Harry Poppins and Big Dan. These two still fighting it out, but they're fighting it out for a place on the podium as they go around turn 11 and across the line to start lap 7, and we are halfway through this 14 lap race, and what a fantastic battle these two are having. Pete, oh, he's having a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Aussie Rooster. Can he get it done? As he goes, he's still got the inside line, and I think he has. Peter's just got his nose in front. What a great move that was at turn 1. As Pete goes through, Aussie Rooster fighting back though. He is right underneath the car of Peter as they go through turns 2, 3 and 4, back onto the back straight. Now it is a race down to the chicane. Pete goes defensive, tries to get his car as big and as wide as he can. As we get into the chicane, Aussie Rooster looked like he got his nose in front but had to back out. Very sensible. Pete in 5th then, Aussie Rooster in 6th. What fantastic racing we've got from these League 4 guys here at Watkins Glen. The battle for 5th. He's really hotting up. Aussie Rooster having another look at the inside of Pete, but Pete shut the door on him for that one. As they go down the hill now towards the toe and turn 7, Aussie Rooster again trying to have a look up the inside. He's just trying to keep the pressure on Pete, isn't he? Hoping that Pete's going to make the mistake. It doesn't look like it's going to happen at the minute though. So up towards turn 8 they go, the heel. Is this where Aussie Rooster sticks his nose up the inside? No. Not going to get it done then. Up the slight incline. I'm just trying to keep an eye on what's happening with Big Dan and Harry Poppins as well, although I can't really take my eyes off of these two. Aussie Rooster is desperate to get that 5th place back, isn't he? Frowney in the background just creeping up to the back of these two, so while these two are fighting, it is slowing them down. Let's just see what's happening with Big Dan. Big Dan still in 3rd. He's actually getting right onto the back of Enzo Jack. So as well as defending, Big Dan is now going to be attacking Enzo Jack. Scott has got himself a little bit of breathing space, although he can't really relax. The slightest mistake and these guys will be on top of him. But Enzo Jack in 2nd is coming under threat from Big Dan and Harry Poppins as they go on towards the chicane. Pete still in 5th, he's hanging on to it. I thought he had my number on then, but it's not. It's 65, mine's 66. So Pete goes through the chicane onto the outer loop. Aussie Rooster in 6th, just, well, not that far behind, is he? Then we've got Frowney. Frowney has caught up to the back of them. Wayne G in 8th. He's made his way up to 8th after his spill. Remember, Wayne G was leading this race until he had that moment at the in the chicane. Not really sure what actually happened there. Then we've got DB in 9th. Molepiece is 10th. Ninkinu 11th with Hoppers. Hoppers going a half-second penalty in 12th. Although Bazza is just a little bit too far back, I think, to take that 12th position away from Hoppers. And then Captain Slow in 14th after his issue in the opening laps. So back up to our race leader. What we got? We've got a bit of a bookend thing going here. We've got Captain Slow at the back and Scott at the front in the Napa for the Napa team. But Scott doing a good job. Maybe just inching away. I'm just having a look at the tyres. We're on lap 9 now, and Scott is about 50% wear on his front left tyre, clockwise track. So I've said it many times, on a clockwise track it is the left hand side tyres that take the beating. So Enzo Jack, well, what's happened to Enzo? Enzo wasn't there, was he? Let's have a look and see where all that happened. Well, yes he was, sorry, and I'm getting myself all confused. It's the excitement of it, I do apologise. Enzo Jack is in second. It was Big Dan and Harry Poppins, wasn't it, that was fighting it out? And they still are, but Enzo Jack is definitely coming under a lot of pressure from Big Dan and Harry Poppins as they go excuse me, as they go through turns 2, 3 and 4 again onto the back straight. It looks like Big Dan has shown his hand. He's tried to pull alongside Enzo Jack and get himself on the inside as they head towards the chicane. He's now side by side with Big Jack and Big Jack. Oh, I am getting all confused. Enzo Jack and Big Dan up towards the chicane. Big Dan has got his nose in front and has got through the chicane first and has got it into second. Enzo Jack though fighting back Harry Poppins. He fancies a bit of this as well. What a fantastic battle between these three as Big Dan gets the move done and holds on to that second spot. Enzo Jack in third, Harry Poppins fourth. He's having a look at the inside now of Enzo Jack as they go around the toe, round turn 7. Up the incline. Oh, a bit of a touchy-feely moment from Harry Poppins and Enzo Jack. No great drama though. They're both still on the tarmac and facing the right way. So Enzo Jack survived that one, but Harry Poppins is on the attack again as they go up the hill towards turn 9. Being very, very careful. You don't spin out here as we've seen a couple of the guys already do. I'm just going to stay with these for the next few turns because Harry Poppins is getting right underneath Enzo Jack. As a colleague of mine would say, he is right up the smelly end of that NSX, and this is where Harry Poppins could make his move. Is he going to try and have a go before they get to turn 1? There we go. Harry Poppins pulls to the inside. No, he slots back in again. Doesn't quite fancy it there. Maybe he's just trying to get himself in Enzo Jack's mirrors. Trying to unnerve him. Trying to force a mistake out of him. All the while though, Scott and Big Dan just trying to get away from them. So Harry Poppins is going to be in the slipstream of Enzo Jack again. Is he close enough to make a move before they get to the chicane? I don't think he is. I think Enzo Jack's going to get there first. Fantastic racing from these guys. We're just going to go down the order. Frowny is in 5th. He's got Aussie Rooster, just dropped off the pace a little bit, Aussie Rooster, so a bit of catching up to be done from him in 6th, but he's got Wayne G fast approaching in 7th. Wayne G came off, if you remember, in the chicane very early doors after leading for, the first 4 or 5 laps. So Wayne G having a great recovery race, I must say. He's now up to 7th, and it looks like he's going to be attacking Aussie Rooster at any moment. And is this the one as he pulls to the inside? Oh no, he had a bit of a look and then slotted back in again, didn't he? So maybe he's just trying to unnerve Aussie Rooster. As they go through turn 8, Wayne G dives to the inside, and I think he's got that done. Come on, cameraman, catch up. Aussie Rooster is on the inside though, up to turn 9. Wayne G having to go the long way round if he wants to get this. Oh, he's tried to cut back. Again, a bit of door bashing between the two of them. It's all friendly stuff though, I'm sure. A bit of a wave to each other as Wayne G passes Aussie Rooster and moves up into 6th. Aussie Rooster though sticking with Wayne G. These are fantastic fights throughout the entire grid. Can't think of the word then. Wayne G gets the job done though, moves up into 6th. He's now got Frowny in his sights. He's got, we're just coming up now. No, we're not coming up to it. We have got 4 laps left, including this one. So let's just go back up to the top and see what's happening. So Scott, well, we're on lap 11. Scott is leading, but that front left tyre, he will start to feel that now, I'm sure. The grip is definitely going to be, going on him. So that front left tyre, he's going to have to keep an eye on it. Big Dan tyres look slightly better in 2nd. Then we've got Enzo Jack in third. Harry Poppins is in fourth. These guys seem to have calmed down just a little bit. Maybe they're all starting to feel the difference in grip now as those tyres start to wear. Frowney is in fifth. Wayne G in sixth. So Frowney is next on the list of Wayne G's to get by. And he seems to get closer and closer with every turn. And Wayne G's tyres look so much better than everybody else's. So he really is looking after them, isn't he? Aussie Rooster now in seventh. Pete, well, he's a good few seconds behind Aussie Rooster, isn't he? He's in eighth, but he has got DB for company. So DB will be looking to put Pete under some pressure. Molepiece, bit of a lonely race for Molepiece in 10th. He's got to concentrate. Well, his front left tyre's looking very worn as well. So he's going to be struggling to keep the car on the track. Ninkinu in 11th with Bazza 12th. Hopper's coming up quick though. So excuse me. So Hoppers could be putting Bazza under some pressure, trying to get that 12th position away from him. And then we've got Captain Slow down in 14th. Never really recovered, did he, from the early spin that he had. It was always a big ask to get back up to the pack and get any kind of good positioning. So Captain Slow unfortunately down in 14th. So back up to our leaders, Scott. He is coming under pressure from Big Dan now. Big Dan fancies this. He's on the podium, but he wants to get the big step. And Big Dan is really piling the pressure on Scott. Let's go on board with Big Dan as we go around turn 7 onto the boot, and this is where Big Dan makes his move. He's pulled to the inside as they head towards turn 8. They are side by side. Big Dan has the inside line. If Scott wants to hold on to the lead, he's going to have to go the long way round and do it, but he's not. Big Dan has got the move done. What a fantastic drive that was. It was a great exit out of turn 7, which gave him the momentum then to get up to turn 8 and make the move stick. And now Big Dan is our new leader as we go through turn 10 onto 11, then back onto the start finish straight as Scott and Harry Poppins are fighting away. So let's just there's been a change at the back as well, so let's just go back and see what happened there. In fact, we'll just drop back there. So Big Dan had made the move and got it done. Up the hill they go towards turn 9. Harry Poppins currently sitting in third with Scott just in front of him. Scott still reeling after losing that position. Enzo Jack and Scott both getting on the dirt, and that gave Harry Poppins the opportunity to just go up the inside into turn 11. Again, a bit touchy-feely as they go in there, and Scott wobbling all over the place. It must be so off-putting for the other guys. Not Scott's fault, obviously, but now Scott has lost 3 places. He's gone from first to 4th as Enzo Jack and Harry Poppins take advantage. Harry Poppins moves up into 2nd, Enzo Jack into 3rd. Enzo Jack is going to have a look at attacking Harry Poppins. We're on lap 13 and we are looking at a 5-car battle now, because Wayne G has caught this pack up, and Wayne G is looking to go by Scott. They are on the straight towards the chicane. Wayne G, he's just trying to pick his moment to get by Wobbly Scott, and he goes up the inside. Wayne G moves up into 4th. Scott drops to 5th, though it has not been a great lap for Scott. But Wayne G, what a recovery race he's had. Moved up into 4th. We have, what, a 1.5 laps still to go, so I'm just going to follow Wayne G for a few more turns as he attacks Enzo Jack. Harry Poppins just ahead, so Wayne G, he still fancies his chances of getting on the podium. And we can see we've got Frowney having a go at Scott as well, and is Scott going to get through? Frowney side by side with Scott. This is fantastic racing from these boys. Oh, and Wayne G's got through. I'm going to go back and have a look at this because Wayne G is having such a brilliant recovery race. He was in fourth, he dives up the inside as they head towards turn 8. And Wayne G gets the move done on Enzo Jack and moves up into third. So Wayne G is now back on the podium. We've got just over a lap left as well, so I'm not going to write Wayne G off for the win here. This is fantastic driving. He has now got Harry Poppins in his sights. Let's jump on board with Wayne G as we go around turn 10 up to 11. And then we will go across the line to start the final lap. Wayne G now slots in behind Harry Poppins. He has got 1 lap left to improve on his podium position. He is on the bottom step at the minute. So through turn 1, Harry Poppins going a little bit wide there, but managing to hold on to that second position. We're just going to stay with Wayne G for now as we go up through turns 2 and 3, and then on to 4, and then down towards the chicane. Is Wayne G going to make a move? Harry Poppins is going to have to do some defending. Wayne G's right in the slipstream, and there he goes. He's made his move. Now who's got the biggest balls when it comes to the brakes? Oh, side by side from these two. What fantastic racing. In fact, let's just go back and have another look at that, shall we? Side by side into the chicane. I said you really shouldn't be doing it, but these two, great respect between the two drivers. A lot of confidence in each other's ability, which enabled that to happen. I think if I'd have done that, we'd have both ended up in a field somewhere. But great racing from these guys. Wayne G having to settle for third at the minute. He really is running out of track if he wants to improve on that position. Big Dan in the meantime is just keeping his nose clean, trying to stay out of trouble. Wayne G has another look up the inside as they go around turn 7. Slots in behind Harry Poppins again. Up the hill towards turn 8 they go. Again, is Wayne G can have a look up the inside. No, Harry Poppins shuts the door on that one. So up towards turn 9, this is going to be a fantastic finish to this race. Big Dan out in front. We're going to stick with Big Dan now because we are coming towards the end of this race. And Big Dan, well, to be fair, he's had a brilliant race, hasn't he? And he does deserve the win. He's been patient, he's picked his moments. And across the line he'll go for the win. Well done to Big Dan. Harry Poppins gets second, just ahead of Wayne G. Enzo Jack is fourth, Frowney is fifth, then Scott and Aussie Rooster fighting it out for 6. Aussie Rooster across the line in 6 with Scott in 7th. As darkness falls. Well, that was just in time, wasn't it? Pete across the line in 8th. Wow, it got dark really quick, didn't it? Somebody's put the blanket over the cage. DB in 9th. Molepiece is going to come across the line in 10th with Ninkinu 11th, I think. Still a bit of racing to be had from Ninkinu and Bazza. So Molepiece across the line. Ninkinu, yeah, Ninkinu gets 11th. Bazza gets 12th. Hoppers across the line in 13th with Captain Slow. As I said earlier, never really recovered. And now he's on to finish the last part of the race in the dark. But what a fantastic race from League 4 here at Watkins Glen. That was race 1. I hope you can join me for race 2, which I believe is straight after this. So the guys are just going to nip off, have a quick cup of tea and a sandwich, and then they're back out again. Mechanics will be working on the cars to fix any dents and bumps and any oil leaks that may have sprung up. And we will be back out, and it is going to be night time, so hopefully you can join me for that, and I shall catch you all very soon.